Obviously, we're not gonna talk. We're not. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's
Uh,
get started.
Good morning, everybody. So, everybody, this is the day everybody gets a rest from YF10K. So, it's Monday morning for me, Maurizio, but it's Sunday for others. And
Yeah, you get
yeah,
a rest, but then obviously days like this, again, just it's fucked up. Obviously, what happened over the weekend in terms of
yeah,
the news and stuff like that, and low liquidity on markets. Like today's also holidays in the US, so I think it's going to be a horrible day
ah,
today as
the
well. So
holiday in US. Yeah, I was
yeah,
looking at the numbers and the bits, and uh,
so there's a
I
bunch
was
of
a bit
things,
mad.
and like. Yeah, obviously we can go through what's going on at the moment and why the market perhaps tanked in half an hour. In like an hour,
Mm,
man. What the fuck?
mm, mm.
Oh man.
So
That's funny.
I have a little theory on that, Maurizio.
Yeah.
This price action that we're looking at here on the weekly.
Mm.
We had this 1 week many weeks ago now where we had
Yep.
above average volume.
Yep.
And then we got one of those. I can't quite remember what Scott would call a capitulation candle. Like nobody really won. There was a
Yeah.
fight. It was mainly long, but look how strong the bulls were. And then since then, we've just, I would use the word meandered. We've just meandered until we've just reached the downtrend line. Okay. And then we've broken the downtrend. Well, okay, great. We've broken the downtrend. But in context, what went before it was this just meandering, and we eventually caught up to the
Mm-hmm.
downtrend line, which to me means it's not as strong a breakout as something that didn't meander, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just had below average volume. So the market movement today or here,
Mm.
my my thesis is that if there's less orders going through, then it's easier to move the price.
No, definitely, man.
You
And
know,
that's what and obviously, weekends and we've been talking about this weekend. I was I've been tracking the price action over the weekend and a few things look pretty well, like BNB look well, a lot of different things that I was tracking. But you know how I feel about the liquidity price action in terms
hmm
of weekends, okay?
yeah.
Obviously, it might look good and then all of a sudden bang, right?
Mhm.
Because obviously, um, think about it from the perspective, institutions are not trading. Okay, so obviously a lot of the who's trading over the weekend? Us, technically, right?
Mhm.
So obviously it's very simple to move the market. Like big players could do stuff like this morning, exactly
Mhm.
like that, which is basically going to liquidate a bunch of people long and short, including me. I got stopped out on a few trades, which is fair enough. You know what I mean? Like it's part of the game. That's why I
Mhm.
reiterate, guys. Risk management. You know what I mean? Like in terms of don't go like we were putting trades in slowly, but we were going to increase size after the 94,000 breakout, right? Which now it did not happen, right? You can actually per se that we might have a little bit of a retracement. Is that a real breakout or is that a deviation? Something that we need to sort of figure out. But yeah,
Mhm.
man, it's a tough game. On top of that, you have to add the news, right? Whatever happens, whatever Trump decides to fucking do, man, is going to move the market regardless. Okay, so if we don't have stop losses, right? Let's say, like, yeah, so it's yeah, I got to stop on, we got to stop on XRP as well. We got to stop on Era as well. We still have a few trades going. So it is what it is, but the stops are important. That's your risk management, right? Because if shit comes to worse, like let's jump in and let's jump in and see why we might start seeing things.
You want to
Obviously,
take the screen?
yeah. I'll take the screen. So first of all, how you guys feel about crypto this morning?
When I put the Zoom on this morning, Maurizio was
Oh,
just getting
man,
the noose. He was just
Jesus
had the
fucking
noose in
Christ, man. I
position.
know. I sort of, I, right. If you watch the videos on Friday, on
Mhm.
Thursday and Friday, right, I was
Yeah.
mentioning that it looked like it wasn't a sustained breakout because we start seeing a lot of the volume coming down, right? I was
Yeah.
going to start buying Solana. Let me start sharing, right? And I'll do a
Because
recap.
you, not you, that's such a you. It's like to try and really get more accurate and summarize like what you're doing. Like you are looking for the order flow. You are looking under the hood with the open interest, and you are
Yep.
looking to trade when we have the order flow in the direction that we want it.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Exactly. And but we have to be mindful that, all right, let's go through what I was seeing on Friday and why I didn't go big on a lot of different things and why I wanted to get in on Solana. Solana was a big one for me to get in, but and Ethereum as well and BNB as well. So this is a trade that I was planning. By the way, if you guys watched the last week videos, this is it still looks good, right? Uh, Another trade that I was planning on Solana, it was around this area right here, but it wouldn't be the stop down more than likely, right? I didn't get into it. We didn't get into it. Ethereum, same deal, right? We didn't get into it. Bitcoin, we were going to get into it, and we didn't get into it. Why? So why didn't get into it? If you watch the videos on Thursday and Friday, what we started noticing, right? Not even like this was the breakout 94 right here, right? It happened 14th, which is Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday. What was the 14th? Um, I'm not sharing the screen. Are you
No,
seeing the screen?
you're absolutely
Okay.
perfect, mate.
All right. So um on here, like we had the breakout, right? But what you can see is that a spot volume starts sort of getting reduced, right? So what what we want to see, right, for an immediate continuation is that the spot keep buying or not selling, technically, right? That's kind of what we wanted to see. Now we sort of had that behavior on Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't look bad at all, right, until this morning. However, if we look at Ethereum, that's why it spooked me out a little bit, and I'm glad we didn't get into any more trades or anything like that because this was the one that actually started spooking me out. If you have a look at on the same breakout that Bitcoin had, right? We started noticing that right after the breakout, like if you give it like an hour, 2 hours, or a couple, or even a day, you can see the volume dropping dramatically on Ethereum. What that means is people are selling, spot are selling. So when the spot sells, right, then you get the traders, you get the derivatives, you get the people, the you and me that plays a stop loss on leverage and shit like that. You know what I mean? And then that's very open to fluctuations in terms of liquidations to either direction. Okay. So lo and behold, here we go, bang, liquidations to the downside, right? It's going to liquidate everybody that actually went long around these levels here, right? So that's and what I mean liquidation, let's define that as well, because liquidation could be a stop loss, liquidation could be an account being completely gone, right? Like let's say that you go too big on your account and on leverage, and then your account is gone. As simple as that, right? So that's a liquidation as well. So that's you can actually see all those liquidations coming down here, right? Some people actually just instead of putting stop losses, they just calculate what is the size that they need in order to liquidate at some levels, and so be it. And that's how they play it. So that's liquidation as well. So that's where we at today. So, but on top of that, we got news, right? So news that weren't very great for the world technically. So obviously Trump decided to fucking Where is Trump? Trump news. Yeah, Trump decided to freaking announce a 10% tariff on Denmark, and now on Denmark, all the Greenland situation with Trump, and then obviously the EU actually is going to put another tariff, and here's the tariff again war. Remember what happened with China? That they increased fucking their tariffs all over the place. So that's going to create liquid volatility in the markets. No questions asked, right? That's going to be very difficult to trade on leverage, at least for the next days, right? To either direction, right? So be careful with that. So we're gonna be, if we decide to look still size very small, okay, we can always add more when the direction finally is decided. So obviously we have those news, right? And then EU is hitting. So this is gonna be a shit show for this week, and the market hasn't even opened yet. And we do have, holidays in the United States. So obviously today is all about Asia and Europe. So it's going to be interesting what happened at the London session, right? Which is in a couple of hours, right? In a couple of hours, not really, in probably 10 hours, give or take. So, Meg, crypto is becoming, it is crypto. That's the behavior. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're going to get those trends that are never going to stop, and sometimes they're going to get really choppy situations. So it could be a very choppy situation at the moment. So I have no directionality at all whatsoever. Why? Because this just happened. This just happened in the last hour, right? This is the last 30 minutes. We had a dump, everything dump, by the way, everything, but not everything. I'll show you a few things. So Bitcoin in 1 hour dump 4%. No, 1 hour and a half dumped from, let's say from here, he dumped almost 5% down, right? And obviously some alts just got really, obviously if Bitcoin drops this much, alts are going to be exponentially on that value. So obviously, is this going to be a buy? This is the same question that I always ask myself. Is this buy the dip, right? Is this buy the dip, or is this hold on? Let's wait. What do you guys reckon? And we'll try to answer that question together, because this has just happened, right? So obviously we need to go through the analysis to see, is this buying the dip opportunity? Is this the only dip that we're gonna get? Are we gonna get a bigger dip? So what do you guys reckon?
I reckon that level of roughly speaking 93,500. I reckon that's the key level to watch out for. So had this price really bombed below that level, then I would be quite bearish. But where price finished up was almost inconsequentially close to that 93, So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing that I want to see happen, is a daily close above 93, as well
Correct.
as seeing that the volume is increasing and that CBD buying is increasing.
Correct. So on positive note, we do have two things that are quite positive. So one is that we do have liquidations. That's good, but we're looking like people are buying here this dip, right? Is this going to be enough for me to buy this dip? Let's have a look at all the stuff that we're looking at. All right. So let's start from that. Let me delete all this stuff because that's not relevant anymore. All the stuff that we did last week. And all right. So let's start with the weekly, right? So this weekly candle, right? It looks pretty ugly from that perspective. It's like a lot of sellers, it wasn't able to actually hold that price up that level here. And these levels here are combination of the last year yearly levels, and obviously a very, very strong sort of uh, pivotal point. So we are at that stage right there. So I could probably see a lot of shorts wanted to short the market, right? Because it looks pretty good for short. But if I have like um a lot of different confluence from different, not confluence, different readings from different time frames. So from the weekly, that's what I'm seeing, right? Obviously, we were very close to actually reaching that 200 level, that 100 level, but that makes me think. And I'm just gonna put my thesis through. So a lot of shorts, I know they're looking at getting around 100, and this could be people front running those shorts. So if you think about it I've talked about front running, what that means on every direction. So front running means, let's talk about front running from the buying perspective, right? So when you start buying, right, and you want to buy, because this is an auction, and then the price getting higher and higher. When you get a pullback and you don't get that sort of touch of the breakout, that means people are willing to buy at more expensive price. That what inflates the price. That's what the price makes it go higher, right? Because people are willing to buy. They say, no, no, I need to buy now because it's never going to get to that breakout level or whatever, right? Same thing in the other direction. Either people take profits here because they front running the taking profit area, give it or take, or shorts wanted to short in advance, right, of that 100,000 level. That's two options, but it's the same sort of behavior that if you actually increase, like invert the scale, right? So if I invert the scale now, where do you guys think the price is gonna go? It's gonna go up or it's gonna go down? Like what do you think, structurally speaking, what it could look like? Up, right? So it looks like it looks like up, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing at the moment from the weekly perspective. Can this change? Right? Can this change? Definitely, right? But this seems to be a significant resistance there. All right. Obviously, if we break this thing down, obviously, we're more than likely going to get that $100,000 level. So essentially, one second, let me just reinvert again. Okay, bang. So it looks from the weekly like a retracement is coming down, right? Like a retracement probably towards this 84,000 level, right? Now let's go back down to the weekly, okay, based on that. So from the daily, price is just resting on this level here of 92,000, right? 92,000. Is this going to be a strong level for buyers to pile in? What you reckon? Is if I tell you now, oh, Bitcoin is at 92,600, are you piling in to buy?
Well, that liquidity pool, I interpret that as evidence that that is where there has been historical clusters of buying activity. So
Right.
I guess I'm not really saying what I would do. I'm saying what I'm interpreting would happen. So yes, I would. I would start buying.
How about you guys? Where you guys at? Would you buy? Like I said, 92 is cheap for Bitcoin. 92 is too expensive. What do you think? I'm just wondering what your thoughts are. Mm-hmm.
Cheap and expensive changes from day to day, doesn't
I
it?
know. So this is kind of what I want to sort of, it's something like buy, but not really, but yes, but no. So we have hesitancy, and that's where I'm at the moment, right? Like, I don't know if I will buy, I don't know if I would not,
Mm.
but so I want to see evidence that institutions are going to buy here. That's it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of, if the big players are going to buy, I'll buy. At the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to uh, go with, right? So just the fact that we're going to have a very thin London session today, I will pay close attention to what London session is going to do, because London, obviously, now the problem is Europe against US. Now that's going to be a significant, is going to be a significant thing. When markets in the US open tomorrow, right? That's going to be another volatility hit, right? So we're going to have two hits right now on volatility. The London session and the US session tomorrow. So it's going to be a very volatile couple of days, I will say, right? So I wouldn't make any big moves at the moment, right? As simple as that, right? Let's see what the price develops. Let's see if this is an interesting opportunity to buy, or this is going to be another retest to the lows, which is a possibility, right? So that's basically where I'm at the moment, just by trying to do this analysis live with you guys, because obviously this has just happened like an hour and a half ago. So that's kind of building my thesis. So something interesting. So let's analyze all this, especially Ethereum and where we are with Ethereum. The good thing about Ethereum, right, is that, let me just show you something that I'm following with Ethereum, which is the validator queue. Okay, so you guys seen this plenty of times. I always keep track of this, especially on a weekly basis or even every couple of days. So the validator queue, what that means is how many people are actually staking Ethereum, right? So if we have a look in the last 30 days, before the end of the year, a lot of people started buying Ethereum and staking Ethereum. I'm not seeing a drop, or I'm not seeing an increase on the exit. I'm not seeing a rush of people to exit their staking, which that gives me a lot of hope for long-term Ethereum holdings. I'm not saying that we're not going to get volatile. Like, this reading is more than likely to get positioned on the spot, more than likely, without stop losses or anything like that, long term. But not for leverage. Unfortunately, leverage but this looks okay so far as of today. Okay, so as long we don't see a massive increase on the exit side of things, I'll be okay holding spot still. Okay, or looking to buy a little bit more in terms of Ethereum, and obviously in terms of alts, right? So that's kind of what I'm tracking a little bit. So keep an eye on this one, right? You guys have the link. If not, we can just publish it. Let me just put in the chat. If you don't have the link, here's the chat of this thing, which is very, very useful, but this is useful long-term wise. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in terms of alts at the moment. Ethereum looks pretty okay, like in terms of buying. Would I buy right now? Not really. Things could get really volatile, man. Very volatile for the next 2 days at least, to see what London session unfolds. So I'm not keen to do anything. Solana, same thing. Solana, if we have a look at CBD, where is CBD going? Okay. So Solana, this is another thing that I was talking about last Friday and Thursday, right? That I saw a bunch of CBD, selling on Friday and Thursday and Friday, so probably this dip was expected, because obviously the prices will not support it. You know what I mean? Like, and this is very easy to move the market when we actually do low liquidity stuff. Why is low liquidity? We don't have a lot of CBD coming through. We don't have a lot of CBD buying. We don't have a lot of support. We don't have a lot of buyers, institutional buyers, or really big buyers to support this price. So more than likely, we're going to have, deep whipsaws to the upside and to the downside. So in this case, we had the upside. We have liquidations. So I technically don't like buying these liquidations. Yeah. So obviously, if you know, it doesn't look supported by price, the best liquidations things that we can actually buy is when the price when we have a liquidations and we have CVD to support that dip, so we know that liquidity that derivatives are being liquidated, but spots are fine. Those are the ones that I really like. This one doesn't look like it. I'm not saying it will not be, but so far what I'm seeing, we could get a little bit farther down. You know what I mean? And I don't see a massive response right now from the majors. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you yeah, we do have a little bit of a bounce, and this bounce is basically mechanical. So if you have liquidations, spot losses that are being triggered, things like that, obviously the price are going to bounce. But yeah, we can see a little bit more weakness. Until when? Who knows? Who knows? Will they short this thing? I'm tempted. I'm tempted to short it, you know, and this could be an interesting short. Um, you know, probably, but it could get, you know, it could get really, really volatile by that means. So obviously, adjusting stop losses and things like that. If you short it, you have to be, you know, I will actually do it on a smaller time frames, like 15 minutes, things like that, and you know, been very, very scalping the market at the moment with this price action sort of deal. So, man, it is what it is. And that's what I'm saying at the moment. Let's see if the prices still stay, you know, get stable a little bit, especially on the London session. But I'm not liking the price action at the moment, to be honest, from the upside perspective. I'm starting to liken it from the downside perspective because let's go bearish. Let's make that assumption. Okay. So the Y and K and 10K will be amazing, man. That would be an interesting couple of trades tomorrow, perhaps, right? Because we we thrive on leverage. Oh, we thrive on sorry on volatility. So that could be quite interesting. So let's do a bearish case. Who is bearish? No one is bearish. Jim, all right. How bearish are you? Would you take a short here? Are you shorting the market, or you just wait to get a lower to buy more? Or all right. So you say, yeah, buy now. So you're bullish then. All right. So yeah, from this, I wouldn't mind buying spot, right, on that scenario, but I wouldn't mind shorting this, you know, targeting probably this area here, 87,000, give or take, right? Stop loss around here, I wouldn't mind it, but then obviously you will, like if you start showing the margin and still holding a spot long, it's gonna screw up with your head, man. So that's why I don't do it. But uh, that could be a very, very interesting setup from that perspective, right? We can go bearish, and um, probably the first target that I will look towards the downside will be the 89,000. So if we start breaking down here, I can definitely see the 89,000 being broken, right? Is this going to be an interesting level to hold? Okay, so yeah, so either you want to play the game of staying in the charts, or you just want to hold off for the next couple of days. And if we see clear, you know, signs of markets, you know, buying, then obviously I'll keep buying. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at in terms of just what's going on at the moment. I don't know how the EU countries are going to react to what Trump is saying. Is getting really, it's getting really out of control in a way, right? Like the first thing now, Venezuela, now Greenland, and there's a bunch of stuff happening, globally that maybe will affect the volatility of markets. So I'll stay cool with the leverage. I wouldn't mind start buying some spot, but that's it, guys. That's all I have in terms of what happens on. I do have good news though, but let me see if you have any questions or anything, and we'll go through the trades that we still have holding and the ones that we got stopped out. But I don't know, Ian, if you have questions.
Wow. Everything's a little murky.
I know. But this is the time that this is very exciting. Like if you're trading short time frames and things like that, this is it's fun in a way. You know what I mean? Like the one that is not fun is if we hold for, if we hold and we expect that this is going to go to the moon, that's not fun. But when you do a small scalps here and there, that's fun because obviously you take advantage of the market. That's what I'm saying. Maybe there's something that that we can open up in the future, right? To do small time frames because it could get really, really interesting. It could get volatile. So we can capitalize on the right side of the coin, right? At any given moment. So let's go through the trades, right? So let's talk about LIT. So LIT, fundamentally speaking, is still good, right? Obviously, this is a lot of airdrops that are being sold. We bought around 3 or something like that. I'm still looking to buy a little bit more. However, if we see that markets are, you know what I mean, like are going to start crashing. So let's go with a very, horrible possibility that Bitcoin starts coming down these levels, start breaking these levels. If it starts breaking this level here, right, the 89,000 level, I might get out of LIT, right? Why? Because if Bitcoin start losing this level here, there is a high possibility that we can start retesting these lows right here, and that's going to be a lot of people closing positions, capitulating, things like that. So either you hold, right, or you get out and you can rebuy or buy something that's stronger, something like that in the future, right? So that's a possibility. So always, you know what I mean? I like to try to be as neutral as possible and look at both sides of the coin right here. You know what I mean? I don't want to see I'm fully bullish. I want to buy right now because it's going to the moon, because it might not, right? I'm not, and I'm kind of 50-50 at this stage. And I'm actually a little bit more biased towards the lower side, to be honest. But that's just this is just by looking at how the CVD looks, right? So the next level that we have for Bitcoin to hold, right, or new buyers to arrive and say, oh fuck, like Bitcoin is very good at this price at 90,000. That could be an interesting level to start loading if we start seeing evidence of that. But obviously, gonna have to wait until then. Now, that's my bearish case. Let's go with the bullish case. Now, if we start holding and reclaiming this area right here, the 94, then I'll be bull again, right? So you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that this is bearish. I'm not saying this is bullish. I'm saying that I have no fucking clue. But these are the things that I will be looking at this, as simple as that. You know what I mean? Like that I cannot actually force the market to say, I think this is bullish, then I'm gonna buy. No, because I don't have the evidence. I don't see institutions. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Trump thing. I don't know. Like there's so many ifs. You know what I mean? So obviously, if you want to buy a little bit. You know what I mean? probably, this will be like a 50-50 chance. It's like this will be more like a casino trade than something else, right? But in order to get positioned fully, then those will be my my biases. Reclaim on 94, then bang, or sweep right here of the 90, see a lot of evidence here to buy, and those will be my bullish scenarios. But failing this, I'll be a little bit bearish, a little bit, until probably the $80,000 range. Can this happen in one day? Of course, man. Yes, it can. So obviously that's something to be just mindful and neutral. No, don't be more. It is, just you're gonna wait until see a little bit more price action develop, right? And then that's it. So,
A couple of observations, if I may, on that, Maurizio.
yep.
One thing I believe that I noticed during this most recent rally was that Ethereum was keeping really close pace with BTC. And then the alts were moving with Ethereum, and it was kind of what I would look at as like a picture perfect. Great. It's not just Bitcoin that's flying off solo. Ether's kept pace with it. The alts, great. We've got all
Mm-hmm.
three things moving in the
Mm-hmm.
direction. But that Bitcoin chart that you had up there on the daily, if we look at that rally that's been happening, well, I mean, it's kind of an underwhelming rally. Volatility has just been plummeting on the ATR. We've barely got up to average volume on most days. So
Mm.
this just doesn't feel like it's got any bollocks to it. And let's say that we get to 100, there's
Mm-hmm.
so much resistance for us to run into. Now,
Mm-hmm.
whilst I don't know, nobody knows, right? But looking at all the traffic on the left, I don't see this really going any higher than about 105 or 107 if we get that high. So my point is
Mm-hmm.
maybe this relief rally is already fizzled out. I'd need to look for some other pieces of evidence, but there's nothing to say, well, this is it, and you were only going to get this tiny bit much more anyway, you know?
That's what you align with what I mentioned in terms of, because obviously that's been my feeling as well. So that's why, when we started getting positioning, I will say, more than likely we're gonna get out of all the positions at 100, like when Bitcoin reaches 100. This
Mm,
could be the people front running that 100 towards down direction. The shorts front running the trade. Obviously this is hard to say because we do have developments across the world happening. So is
mm.
that part of it? Is that outside of it? Is that because of this? Is that, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, but if with all this stuff happening, my struggle with big institutions getting positioned right now. You know what I mean? Like, this is just
Mhm.
something that I struggle with. I could be completely wrong, and if I start seeing evidence of institutional money flowing in through it, then maybe this is another tackle. Fucking Trump opening his mouth and things like that. But then after what happened in Venezuela, you have to think about all the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so it's so many, and I have no idea about political aspects of anything, but think about it from the perspective that will involve all Europe. A bunch of countries are being involved in this thing, right? And that's significant, right? That's significant from that perspective. Okay, it could get ugly. It could get ugly, man. It could get ugly because, yeah, who knows, right? So if it does get ugly, then
What are the prediction markets saying, Maurizio?
yeah. We'll have to be in the prediction market, man. Yeah, let me open poly markets. Let me open poly markets. That could be interesting, right? Poly markets. Let's have a look.
We're still looking at your trading
Ah,
view?
yeah, I'm trying to
Oh, right. Okay.
open it up here in a different screen. Uh, I need to, because it's blocked in Australia. I
Is
need
it
to,
really?
yeah, it is, man. I need to log in
Wow.
with a VPN, so they blocked it.
Wow, man.
So interesting. Okay,
Weirdly to have
I'll,
got as much, the same as the UK now. All right, I
yeah.
got it open my end.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me stop the sharing and stop it.
It's I got to shut down Pornhub and all the other atrocities that I've got open before I accidentally share something that that dooms me forever. Right, which let's just share that one. Here we are. Here we are. I got that floating thing to hide. Uh, there we go. Okay. Wow, look at this. I haven't been here in a long Greenland. There we go. That wasn't hard to
Yeah.
find. Will Trump acquire Greenland before 2027? Oh, and we can look inside for the. I haven't really played around much on these. Oh, okay, and
So
then
it's a
that's how
nod.
they resolve.
It's odds towards the no, right? But then obviously, how, I don't know if that affected, because there's a lot of stuff, right? The tariffs and
Mm,
also the acquiring, which is going to take ages. But at the end of the day, he's forcing that. So maybe we can click on trending on the
trend.
top.
There we go.
Yep.
Super Bowl. Now this is a big one, right? And I'll immediately start by saying that Scott would say, wash your fucking brain out with soap, Ian. Don't play macro economist, right? But as we're on a prediction market, I would say that it's 55 to 75% that as soon as Trump can get Powell out, he will. But that is the separation between government and the economy. That's why
Yeah.
Powell is still in there.
Yeah.
So as soon as he can, but this is asking who, not if. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Like this is one of
Presidential
those things.
election.
The problem with prediction markets is you can be interpreted in so many ways. I'm not really an expert on this at all. I don't even looked at it. You know what I
I
mean?
haven't looked
Because
too much.
yeah, I all get confused.
I
Uh,
mean, that's just a raw gamble. What price will Bitcoin hit in January? 105, 110. So you can gamble on the gamble of the investment.
yeah. So that's why it's so subjective from that perspective, right? But
Yeah,
yeah. So, but yeah, that's
there
basically.
we go.
I
Yeah.
think that's basically it, guys. So let's go through the trades, right? But I do have, well, good news in a way. That was a good news over the weekend. And the good news is whoever is in KLED, we winning. Where we were winning, we were like 60-80% up on KLED. So KLED is still doing good. I want to add more on the breakout. So that's a good one. If you know what I mean? But it looked pretty good. It looks almost ready to break out. And I will expect that if we do have that breakout and markets have continuation, then yeah, this one will hit my target of probably 1 cent or even more. So if you guys are on this one, I think we're still one profit, really good on profit. We added more probably around here. So yeah, this one is doing good. I did have another one, that I did talk about it before, and it's called Dupe. I haven't bought anything yet, but um, Dupe on Solana, it is this is part of the narrative of internet capital markets. So it's a lot of like crypto. companies that are created on the crypto side of things, but they do have real value in the world. They're doing a real project. They're doing something. It's not a meme coin or anything like that. So obviously the exponential growth of this is less, but if they grow, they could be really, really huge. So I'm looking at Dupe. The reason why is because Dupe is, they just expanding. This is an app that actually uses AI to actually get you actually take a photo and then it gives you all the deals, all the stuff where you can actually buy things and that. It used to have only furniture, but now you have a lot of different things in it. So they tested the model, and the model is actually pretty good. And they just integrated with the Google's Universal Commerce UCP. So this is going to be an interesting, very, very interesting approach for shoppers. So that's why I like Dupe on this one. I haven't bought anything, but I'm tempted to start buying this one, right? So obviously, just give you a heads up, if we do. So that's kind of the good news before everything happens. So obviously, if we do have a crash, um, then I'll be looking to buy this even lower at a lower price. You know what I mean? Because the fundamentals don't change on these ones. You know what I mean? Price does change, and if a Bitcoin, decides to dump on Ethereum, decides to dump, and Solana decides to dump, because this is all on Solana, these coins are going to get affected. But the fundamentals of the business itself, it will not get affected. All right, unless e-commerce goes out of the window, or K-led, which is a data science AI sort of deal, goes out of the window, then the business model goes out of the window. But I'm still looking to buy those. So give me 1 second. Let me just close the door. All right. So besides that, let's go through the stuff that we have. So we have Lit. Oh yeah, we talked about Lit. XRP, we got to stop out on XRP, unfortunately. Arrow, we got to stop out. I might add more on this one, but I want to see when the markets are heading. JST, we're still good on JST. JST is actually, I'm thinking of perhaps adding more. This was significant. Like, we had a good pullback, but bounced a lot. And that, now I'm looking to buy TRX. So TRX is the only one that actually still holding strong. It hasn't actually come down at all whatsoever. So I do like TRX based on that. Obviously, bear in mind that if you are in JST and TRX, they could be very correlated, but TRX seems to be more stable from that perspective, right? So I do like how TRX is price action is going. And if you go from the weekly, right, we are just rumbling this area here, right? So this could have continuation towards the upside. So I really like TRX from the perspective. Another big one that I like is Pump.Fund. So price action doesn't look that great, but if we have a look at fees, start growing a lot. And last week we had a bunch of AI narratives coming through. So I think this one doesn't have a direct relationship with AI, but I know they like to pump it when the AI is pumping. So it's like a weird correlation that I haven't figured out why, but it's just the behavior that I'm seeing on pump. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's the only two that I really like in terms of things that I'm seeing when markets are crashing. You can actually spot those on the spaghetti chart. So if we open the spaghetti charts right now, everything just dump, right? It's just a few things that are holding, but as you can see, even the S&P 500, everything is sort of coming down. So everything is going to get affected if we do have a continuation of it, right? So yeah, I might jump in on TRX, to be honest. Looks pretty good. Another one that looks pretty good is H. I've been talking about H for for a while. And this is like a humanity. It's called humanity, and it's AI verification, some sort of stuff. It looks pretty good. The downside of this is going to get very volatile. It could get very volatile. So, and surprisingly, today it's been holding pretty good. It's actually the only thing that is up to be. Uh, H and JST is the only one that they're up at the moment. Virtual still holding virtual, right? So let me just bring up the daily here, right? Um, Still holding this one. I might move the stop, but definitely move the stop loss. And then if we do have a market recovery, I'll add more. Until then, I'll want to get cover on this one. Besides that, I think that's it, guys. So it's nothing more that I can actually do until the next couple of days. Let's see what happens in the next couple of days.
All right. Well, that about sums it up. Thank you very much, Mauricio.
All right, guys. So stay cool. Don't go too big on if you're trading. And yeah, unless you have any more questions, I think that's about it.
No, there we go. All right, man.
All right,
Cheers.
guys.
See you later.
Bye bye.
Ta-da.
Cheers.